not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised.
It is time to energize a revolution in medicine. Welcome to Third Opinion. We intend to hunt down the cures, provide the evidence, and ask the critical questions that you want answered. The revolution is now. I'm Richard DeAndreas, a medical doctor trained in surgery and conventional medicine, and a natural doctor with extensive experience in the progressive treatments focused on finding the cures. You want answers, and we aim to deliver. Stay tuned. There is one substance that is replacing over-the-counter painkillers. A substance one puff away that is not addictive, is inexpensive, and has no side effects other than making you feel happy, horny, and a bit hungry. There is, and all you have to do is convince your doctor that you need it. We will be speaking with the owner of the largest and most active medical marijuana clinic in the country. He has helped well over 400,000 people get the medicine they need, despite the odds. Here are the top stories. From the Telegraph, London, doctors divided on medical pot. Some medical professionals are at odds with whether medical marijuana would offer a viable treatment option for patients with extreme pain and nausea. Others say working with a drug would be more of a moral or comfort issue. It is critically important for the simple fact that it gives options to the people, said Dr. Eric Christoph, an internist and HIV specialist in the Chicago area. The point is, people will have a strikingly different reactions that are expected and not expected with certain drugs. Eric Christoph, MD, traveled to Springfield, Illinois, the capital, in person and submitted written testimony supporting Senate Bill 1381. He said he believes his peers in Northern Illinois generally would be receptive to the legalization of marijuana for medical purposes, although not all would be comfortable personally prescribing it. I'd like to stand up and give a big cheer to Dr. Christoph for actually standing up and being a community leader and trying to help people to understand that this herb is medicine. Of course, I have a bit of a bias with this because I believe the earth knows what it is doing. And to be perfectly honest, we have many medicines that come from the earth. Let's take Vicodin, somas, painkillers, muscle relaxants. Most of them actually come from poppy seeds, which opium actually comes from. Heroin is actually made from poppy seeds. The article further goes on to say Dr. Mark Woodson with Hematology Oncology Consultants in St. Louis agreed that expanded treatment options would be a plus. There are medications out there now that help with pain and nausea, all which have potential side effects. For select patients with careful monitoring, it could be quite beneficial for my cancer patients. We may not realize that 80% of the elderly people in this country are actually on painkillers. Most of these painkillers are addictive, and they're made from opiates. Opium. Isn't that an illegal substance? You see, we do have to recognize that nature works, so why not pot? Second story, this comes out of the Salem News. American Psychiatric Association Assembly unanimously backs medical marijuana. A major move by one of the nation's top medical groups. They are backing medical marijuana and they want the federal government to leave doctors alone. In a unanimous vote, the Assembly of the American Psychiatric Association has approved a strongly worded statement supporting legal protection for patients using medical marijuana with their doctor's recommendation. This is a very large and important medical organization. It isn't some fringe group, said Bruce Merkin from the Marijuana Policy Project. He told Salem News this move debunks a lot of the nonsense from some of the anti-medical marijuana groups. They have been aggressively using false information tactics. These groups allege that there are various links between mental illness and marijuana, ignoring the fact that it is well documented that medical marijuana can be therapeutic. Good. So now it is not a mental illness to want to relax and feel good. Other groups endorsed it as well. If we go through the list, you'll find that almost every physician who is related to these organizations endorses medical marijuana. The American Medical Association, the American College of Physicians, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, the American Academy of Family Practice Physicians, the American Public Health Association, the American Nurses Association, and the British Medical Association, nurses and doctors. Third story from Slate Magazine, A Toke and a Tax. Isn't it interesting how the economy just continues to get worse and marijuana starts to look better? It's not necessarily for the healing properties as much as for the revenue potential. The article goes, the question is not surprisingly popular in California. which has a $24 billion deficit. In February, one lawmaker introduced a bill to tax and regulate cannabis sales to any adult over 21 at any licensed establishment. And in April, a poll found that 56% of Californians supported that idea. In May, Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger said it was time for debate about legalizing and taxing marijuana. Other states facing similar fiscal woes, such as Illinois, are considering proposals that would legalize and tax either medical or all marijuana. Sensing opportunity, medical reform lobbyists have enticed legislators with promises of a fat tax revenue of approximately $1 billion annually in the state of California. That's $1 billion or $1.5 billion, depending upon the sources that you go to. This is a very interesting opportunity for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Here's an opportunity to cover up that $9 billion that is missing from the Enron scandal, which seemed to be mysteriously covered up the minute he came into office. In addition, it seems that things become less black and white as soon as some of the green starts to run out, except for those who are smoking it. Whatever they do, governments that tax marijuana will have to balance a trio of goals: reducing budget deficits, eradicating black market, and improving public health. Not to mention the amount that could be possibly spent if we were to make laws that were a little bit more sensible around the issue. For instance, U.S. governments could save almost $13 billion annually if they no longer arrested, prosecuted, or imprisoned marijuana buyers or sellers. But in an era of failing tax revenues, we can see how important it might be to first look at the idea of ending the drug war. That might be a better idea. We'll be right back with proof that marijuana is real medicine and real research to prove that fact.